the difference between I believe that you can be a profitable day trader within the next year, and this is the number one reason why I believe that about you. So the reason I believe that about you is because you're on this video and you already are a day trader. Now, the difference between the day trader that you are right now and where you want to be is only one thing, okay? And it's free. It's a thing that you already have. It's a thing that you cannot buy. And it's a thing that you were given at birth. Now, the one thing is called time. You already have time. You don't get to choose how much time you get, no matter how much time you try to give yourself more or less. There's only 24 hours in a day. And so because time is something that you cannot get rid of, you already are at an advantage to everyone else who doesn't understand or know or is willing to try day trading. You already have time. That's why you're going to be profitable. Because whether you like it or not, the market is going to open every single day until you pass away, except for holidays and weekends. And that's only if you don't trade crypto. If you trade crypto, great. If you trade futures, even better. So the timeline is that crypto is more available than futures, and then options is less available than futures as far as time-wise. So if you only have a little bit of time to trade, well, the time moves in this direction, all right? So most people, in my opinion, start with options, move to futures, and they dabble between these two. Me personally, I have no interest in crypto anymore or futures anymore. I only do options because that is what I am good at being profitable at, okay? One loss does not blow an account. It's what happens after the loss that blows your account. This video is about something almost no trader is taught directly, how emotion carries forward when nothing is there to stop it. And it sounds like such a soft topic that makes little to no difference, but I'm telling you, the traders I work with have done a complete 180, because the first loss isn't the real damage. It's the shift it causes internally. So when you take a small loss, it's fine. Mathematically, you didn't blow the account, but it shifts you inwards. And after the first loss, something subtle really happens. You start to feel very lost. You start to feel very off. You feel behind. You feel like you need to fix something. That is our human nature in our brain saying, I need to fix it. And the only way your brain knows how to fix a loss is to go back and make another trade. And that feeling does not disappear just because the trade is over. Just because the day is now a new day doesn't automatically make you a new trader. You have to consciously do this stuff. So instead of stopping, you keep trading. Not because the setup was really great, but it's because when you stop trading, it feels worse because now you can't fix what you want to fix. And so now you're no longer trading the market. You're trading the feelings, and you're trading how you feel about a trade that's already gone, and likely a trading day or a trading week that's already in the past. If you think about, I have my Starbucks here today. If you think about spilling your coffee on yourself in the morning before work, right? For those of you who have a job, the spill is not the catastrophic part. But now you spilled it on your shirt, you're probably going to be late. So you feel rushed, you feel distracted. You're like, dang, this is not part of my morning. Now you feel so annoyed. And after that, everything else in your day is going to suffer. All of a sudden, you reach all the red lights, and now your boss wants to have a meeting with you, right? But that is exactly what happens in trading. It's not the small loss. It's everything that happens after it based on your emotional state when that loss happens, when that coffee spills. So again, most traders are aware of this. You know how to trade. You're aware of this because you journal. Oh, I revenge traded. Oh, this was emotional. I should have stopped right here. I should have got out right there. In your journaling, your awareness is never going to be the solution, ever. Most stable traders do not push through bad days. They stop early. This is what we do. When we feel like we are becoming unstable, the laptops close. It's not because we're weak. It's because we understand momentum. And that if we keep trading, when do you stop? There has to be something that interrupts that behavior. So if you've ever thought, oh, I should have stopped after that first loss, I want you to comment the words first one. Because if you should have stopped before that first loss, why didn't you? You knew it. But one bad trade does not define the entire trading day. It's what you allow after the loss. Whatever follows that is what actually dictates everything else. Be honest with yourself for a second. By the time you're analyzing a chart, the trade was already decided. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Because that discomfort is the point that most traders miss and makes them quit within their first year when they're perfectly capable. So in this video, I want to explain something most traders do not want to admit. It's that the chart isn't actually where most decisions are made. The charts are just where decisions were justified. Traders absolutely love to believe that they're objective, which means things like you wait for confirmation, you follow your rules, you let price tell you what to do. We've all said those things, but that is not actually what is happening. What's actually happening is this: feeling shows up within you, and then the charts get involved. You don't automatically turn on your feelings when you open up TradingView in the morning. No, when you wake up in the morning, there's a feeling that is internally there. You do not wake up neutral, ever. You're never undecided, right? When you show up to a session to trade, you're already carrying either the good day from yesterday, the bad day from yesterday, the pressure to perform. It's the last day of the month. You want to make sure your P&L looks really great. Maybe you have some overconfidence from trading. There's maybe even some frustration that you feel, right? And once that internal state exists, the trade has already been leaning towards one direction. And the chart is simply permission at this point. And this is the part that nobody really wants to say out loud, which is fine, but it's true. You do not enter a trade because the setup was perfect. You enter because you want to be in the trade. You feel like this is the trade that's going to go great, it's going to shoot up, or that you don't want to miss out on a certain move, or you just want to confirm who you think that you are today. And the chart never decides. The candlesticks don't really decide. They just give you permission. It's just the way that you act out those decisions. But here is where traders actually get stuck for years, or they quit within their first year. It's because they get very, very aware of this. You will legitimately have a journal, and then you write things on the journal saying, I entered too early, I forced that trade, this was an emotional trade, I shouldn't have done that. And then you think in your head, oh, I see it on paper, I know what I did wrong. So now I can fix it because I know what I did wrong. But awareness was never meant to be the solution. That is why on the first of the month, you can write down a problem. And then 30 days later, you're writing down that exact same problem. And then a month later, you're writing down that exact same problem again. It's because awareness only names the problem. When you're aware of something, you're aware of a problem, you're aware of something that you're doing, that doesn't interrupt the thing that you're doing. So you know that you're emotional, but you can still click the button, even though you're aware of it. You can recognize that you have the urge to want to trade, and then you can still go and trade, even though you know you're not supposed to. You can literally predict a mistake that you're going to make and repeat it anyways. That is not a lack of intelligence. It is a lack of containment. And you're going to journaling thinking that it's going to give you the structure and the containment that you need. But the traders that I work with didn't suddenly gain more insight. They did not become smarter or more intelligent. I only work with traders that already know how to trade. What they did is they stopped relying on awareness to control their behavior, because it simply doesn't work like that. It's never going to stop your behavior just because you now notice it. So if you've ever said, I don't know why I took that trade, and you wrote down in your journal or thought to yourself, I knew better, right? I want you to comment down below the word state and see how many people are also dealing with that same thing. And if it feels like your best intentions always disappear the moment the 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the markets are open, as soon as it becomes Monday and now it's time to trade and all your intentions go out the window, it's because the decisions do not start on the chart. They start within you. And every day that you ignore that being the fact, it's going to continue to perpetuate itself. It's going to keep happening. So I want to give you 3 things that you can do immediately to interrupt this before it clearly is free to watch. Definitely go watch it. I'm going to say something so simple, but if you actually want to survive long enough to make money in options trading, in futures trading, in whatever market you trade, you have to learn how to end on a good note. Not a high note, not when you start to feel invincible and you start to feel super successful and you have this ego about you. Not end when you're all hyped up and you're feeling like you're the smartest person in the earth. I'm telling you right now, if you do not learn how to stop trading, you will never be able to make it. Because money is the reward. Money is the reward that you get for your patience, for your skill, for your knowledge. Ego is not your reward. And I'm going to tell you that your bills don't take ego as a form of payment. Neither do your credit cards or any of your expenses. And most traders don't lose because they don't know how to make money. You know how to trade. They lose because they don't know how to stop making trades. You just don't know when to stop trading. And that's what this specific video is going to be all about. If you're interested in hearing what I have to say, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this video, because we're not talking about entries, we're not talking about strategies, we're not talking about indicators or charts, because you already know how to trade. It's about learning where to stop. I often hear this with my students in application after application for my coaching. So it's about learning where to stop, and more importantly, learning why thus far you might have refused to stop and you just feel like you just can't stop. There's this invisible pull that's been pulling you into trades. I'm gonna break this video down into sections. This first section is titled "The Skill That Nobody Talks About." You have to watch the whole video to get the full idea. But there's a skill that nobody talks about in trading. It is not risk management, although I make videos on that too. I think it's super important, but it's also not discipline. It's not patience. I've made videos about all of these things, but what's so much more important is the ability to stop trading when you're already in profit. I don't really ever see traders that don't know how to trade. It's that they make a lot of money, they make profit, and it sounds really ridiculous, but then they just lose it all. And most accounts weren't blown just from already losing. They were blown from winning. You blow an account means you're losing money. You can't lose money you didn't make. So you made money and then you went and lost it. So people are making money every single day, and then they're giving that money back to the market, and sometimes a little bit more than you would like to. Then you make more and then you give that back too. So eventually what's going to happen is you hit a drawdown that is so deep and you collapse psychologically and you start to force trades to get that money go back green. We're going to avoid all this, because the real question is not how do I make money, because you already have a strategy and you already know how to make money because you already know how to trade. The question is, how do I keep myself from undoing what I already made in the market? How do I keep the profit that I have already secured? The profit that's already mine? And the answer is not more rules. The answer is not more willpower. You cannot willpower yourself to securing more money. The answer is not more motivation and more speeches and more talks. It's about learning the one skill nobody talks about, which is learning how to end on a good note. I can make 50 videos about this one topic, but we're going to go into section number 2 to break it down a little more deeply, which is money is the reward, not your ego. If we are being really brutally honest, most of you are not trading for money. You might think you are. You might be telling yourself you are, but you're not. You're trading for emotional resolution. It sounds like a big word, but you're just trying to resolve your emotions through trading, right? You're trading to feel an emotion. You're trying to feel right. You're trying to feel smart. You're trying to feel powerful. You're trying to redeem yourself, feel like you're in control. And that's why you don't stop, because you need to resolve that emotion, and you're choosing to do it through trading. And when you stop trying to trade, it feels like you're quitting on the emotion that you're trying to resolve. And stopping feels like a literal weakness. Stopping feels like you're leaving something on the table, which is not true, because your bills, the expenses you're required to pay every single month, do not care about any of that at all. Your land does not accept confidence as a form of payment. Chase, Amex, Wells Fargo, Navy Federal, no credit card company is going to accept good intentions. Oh, I tried to keep my profit. I tried. No, the grocery store, Publix and Kroger